Welcome back to Arrival Entertainment, everybody, and today we're going to be talking about the 24th movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Black Widow. Black Widow stars Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh, David Harbour, Rachel Weisz, and Ray Winstone, and is the long-awaited solo movie for the character Black Widow ever since her introduction back in Iron Man in 2010, I believe. Ever since I saw her back in Iron Man 2 for the first time, I've always enjoyed seeing Black Widow in these movies, and I've always enjoyed Scarlett Johansson as the character. I think she's very good as the character. So obviously, like everyone else, I wanted to see a solo movie with hers. And just a heads up, a lot of people have been complaining about that this movie came out 10 years too late. They should have done this movie back in 2010 when they did the other origin movies. I'm not going to be talking about that. I'm just going to focus on what the movie is now. I'm not going to focus on what the movie should have been or could have been. I'm going to focus on what the movie is now, because we have the movie now. Is it better late than never, or should the movie have come out 10 years earlier? Well, we'll never know what that origin movie would have looked like if it would have came out 10 years ago, but the movie we have now, I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed it. It's not one of the better entries of the MCU. It's kind of in the middle of my personal ranking for the MCU movies, but I did enjoy myself. If you're familiar with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, then you know how these movies work. They have a certain formula to them, and obviously it's worked out because they've been making these movies since 2008. Which could be a negative to some, because a lot of people have expressed that they're really starting to get, superhero fatigue, Marvel fatigue, whatever it is. And I can understand that. You know, these Marvel movies, they borrow the same formula. Obviously, some entries are better than others, and this one kind of reminds me a little bit of Captain America: The Winter Soldier. It's obvious that this movie is taking inspiration for it. Now, I'm not comparing it to Captain America: The Winter Soldier, because obviously that movie's much, much better. But they were definitely taking inspiration from that film. And I gotta be real with you guys, I don't really feel that superhero fatigue yet. Yes, I've acknowledged that we are getting too much comic book movies, and it does feel oversaturated at times, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm still looking forward to seeing them. I still want to see Doctor Strange 2 and Spider-Man 3, and I'm curious about the Fantastic Four movie that Marvel's doing, despite the fact that none of the other Fantastic Four movies were any good. And when it comes to DC, I still want to see The Batman and The Suicide Squad and Shazam 2 and Black Adam. I'm still excited to see these movies, so superhero fatigue hasn't really settled with me yet, and that could be why I enjoyed Black Widow than most people have. Now, I'm not saying that everyone's trashing this movie, but I have noticed that a lot of people are catching more of that superhero fatigue, despite the fact that there hasn't been a new Marvel movie in 2 years now. The last movie to come out in the MCU was Spider-Man Far From Home back in 2019. I don't count Loki, WandaVision, and Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yes, we have had MCU projects recently, but the first movie back in movie theaters for the MCU, it's kind of weird that now people are catching a lot more superhero fatigue than they did the past couple years. I think Avengers Endgame might have something to do with it. I'm not sure, but nevertheless, my point is with all that is that I enjoyed this movie most than what I have been seeing. Like I said, I like Scarlett Johansson as the character, and she is great in this movie. We finally get to see her lead her own movie, and she doesn't disappoint. She was great in the action, she was great with the emotional stuff. There was no problems. I had no fears going in about her leading her own solo movie because I knew she was going to be good. My concern with the movie, well, okay, not really concern. My curiosity for this movie is how would the other characters play out? And for the most part, very well. I really liked Florence Pugh in this movie. She was awesome. Every time she was on screen, kicking ass or saying something funny, it was so entertaining. David Harbour, maybe a little over the top, but nevertheless, he was entertaining and he kept my interest. And I liked seeing Rachel Weisz in this movie. The only character, in my opinion, that fell kind of flat is the villain played by Ray Winstone. Now, that's weird to say because Marvel in the past few years have gotten really good at handling their villains, and now it feels like they're taking a step down from that. Because while Ray Winstone, his performance is really good, he's just a typical superhero villain, and by the end of the movie I completely forgot about his character. I feel like one or two more rewrites and his character would have been handled a lot better. Now, like I said earlier, I like Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh, David Harbour, and Rachel Weisz in the movie, and the four of them together I thought worked very well off each other. However, there is a part in the midpoint of the movie where they're all coming together and they're just kind of talking to each other, giving us character development and more emotional scenes. And that part, I don't know, it was well handled, but it felt very slow paced. Like halfway through what was going on, I was just kind of thinking to myself, wow, we're still here, just kind of sitting around and talking. I get the point of it. They're giving us more character development, and I get that. Just, they could have done it a little bit better. I don't know. It felt very slow paced, and that's the only part that dragged. The action, however, was a little hit and miss for me. Now, none of it was shaky, thank God, but there was quite a bit of quick cutting where it became annoying after a while, but then other times the action was pretty cool. It's a little 50-50 for me, because you guys know me. I love my action. Action movies are my favorite genre of movies, and I tend to focus on how the action is filmed when I go see an action movie or a superhero movie, and this one was kind of 50-50 for me. So overall, guys, I enjoyed Black Widow. Like I said, it's not one of the best MCU movies. It's kind of in the middle of my ranking, but the positives did outweigh the negatives for me, and like I said, I don't have that superhero fatigue, so I enjoyed this movie most than some other people are. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's people out there that don't have superhero fatigue either, that don't like this movie, and that's perfectly fine. I'm just giving my 2 cents on the matter, and I think this movie was worth the wait. I really did. Overall, I would say Black Widow is a Blu-ray purchase. I do want to see the movie again. I don't think I'm going to go out to the theater to see it again. I'll probably wait until it comes out on Blu-ray, but I do think the movie's worth your time, especially if you're still on board with the MCU after Avengers Endgame. So guys, that's my review for Black Widow. Let me know, as always, your thoughts on the movie down in the comment section, and where does it rank in your Marvel ranking? Like I said, it's more in the middle for me, but I still really enjoyed it. So whatever your thoughts on everything is, let me know down in the comment section. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry I haven't been doing videos the past 2 weeks. A week and a half ago, I got my wisdom teeth out, so talking was just kind of like a no-go for me. But they feel a lot better, so I'm back in the mood to go into the movies and talking about movies, so expect more videos coming very soon. I do want to see Space Jam: A New Legacy. I'll hopefully be seeing that soon, so you can expect a video for that. Probably this weekend, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, just like always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like and share it. Subscribe right here if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, take care.